Hey everybody, I've got some card samples to show you today from the Botanical Prints Product Medley. I did do a video on the unboxing that shows everything that's included in the kit. So here are the samples. The first one, it's really simple. You could mass produce these very easily, but if you wanted to up them just a little bit, you could add some color if you don't like them black and white. I did the terracotta tile on this one. And this one is the Lovely Lipstick, and this is a color that is retiring, so if you want to get any of the inks or papers, you should do it now before Stampin' Up! Sends out the retiring list, because last year all of the retiring things were going in one day, so that's not a good thing. But this one I just want to show you. I used the Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder on this. It's really pretty, you can see. And I also used the embossing folder plate for this one. Now with the thicker 3D embossing folders, you do not want to use this plate, but this is a thinner one, and it does help you to get a really good impression on the cardstock. So the number is 149658, and it's $10 if you need one of those. And then the Parisian Flourish is 151474. And so what I did is I just ran it through the Parisian Flourish embossing folder and attached it to a white piece of paper. And of course this is 4 by 5 1/4. Then I just stamped these pieces, and I tied our white twine around, and this is really nice to tie. Some people don't like to tie with it, but I finally have gotten used to tying bows. So I just take, and I usually leave my ribbon or my twine on whatever it comes on, and that way you have less waste if you just cut it off and try to gauge how much you need. So you can just pull it over to the side, and I do try to keep everything flat when I'm tying. Try to keep as much pressure on it. And of course it's hard to tie a bow online. Your fingers just seem to not do what you want them to do. But that one turned out pretty good. Just fiddle around with it a little bit, pull it back out. If you don't like it, you can always start over again. So just snip it. And then with this one, I just use dimensionals. I love dimensionals. And I do like to tell you, try to use up all your dimensionals, because you can use everything that's on that piece of paper. So then I just add these, and I'm going to leave a little piece for the end here. And then you just take your pick tool would be nice right now. So then I just like to spread this out a little bit so you can see the twine. Like that. I like it like that. And then you can just slide this in here. Take your glue. I use the mono adhesive glue, and I do order this in bulk. And I always ask my customers if they want some, because it does save on the price. So I just put that, and I attach it to this, and it'll be ready to go. I'm going to put these to the side. I'm going to show you the next two, and I did use the samples out of the mini catalog. I made this one, and I made this one. So this one I really like. I like the laser cut paper on this one, and of course the little bees that come with it. And on their sample they use like 4 of the bees. I'm only going to use 1 because, you know, they don't go far enough. So here are my pieces. So we do this one first, and this is some of the designer series paper, and I used a 1.5 by 4 1/4, and then this is 1 inch by 4 1/4, and I just run a strip of glue, and you don't have to use much. It doesn't take much at all when you're using your glue. So what you want to do, I do it this way so I can see where I'm putting it and how much I'm leaving. And another thing I like about the glue is it gives you just a little bit to move your paper around. If you don't get it exactly where you want it, you don't think it's straight, you can move it around. And I just put some more glue on the back, and like it does not take a whole lot of glue. So don't overuse, that way it'll leave more for later. And I just bump this up against the top. And I want to show you, I colored these, and these are from the stamp set. I just stamped these, cut them out, and then I colored them. And you could use the blends. I love the blends, but I didn't have the pretty peacock to use. So you can use your blender pen, and I just rub it along the side, and that takes all of the ink out, and you can use all different colors. So I'm going to use the Old Olive first, and you just squish your ink pad to get the ink into the cap, and you just want to pick up a little bit of your ink. And I do follow the lines that Stampin' Up! Gives us in the stamps. It helps you know where to put the darker colors. Like you just keep, you know, you can add color. And the thing I like about the blends, we do have the color lifter, so if you go out of the lines a little bit, you can lift that color back up off of where you've colored and missed. So I just keep coloring till I get my leaves colored in. Let's do this last little leaf here. Then like you just take your blender pen and you take the ink out of it, and then you can go on to your next color, which is Pretty Peacock. Again, you give it a little squish, and then you have it in the lid, and then you just come back in and color these little berries. There they are. I'm sure they're called something else. But isn't that a pretty color? The Pretty Peacock. If you do it dark, you know, I like when you do it a little bit lighter, you can see the color a bit better. But it's, you know, whatever your preference is. Pretty Peacock is a really pretty color. So that one's going to be around for another year. So then you do want to try to get all the ink out of your pen just so you're ready for next time. Just put your cap on it and put it to the side, and you're ready to go. So when I'm doing these, I do look at the sample just to see how they've done it, because they have some really nice samples. The catalog is a really good source of inspiration. And one good thing about being a demonstrator is they give us the product recipe. So every sample that's in the catalog, they give us what colors they have used for it. They do give the demonstrators a lot of help. So I'm just going to add these. Add one towards the bottom, I think. Off to the side. And then again, I'm going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals. I used all the other ones up. I'm going to come back in. And what I want to do first is I want to tie the ribbon around to bring in some more of the Old Olive. So I'll just wrap this around. If I was in class, I would tape it to the back to use a little bit less ribbon. But I'm just going to pull this around. And you do want to try to keep it as flat as you can when you're tying a bow. It does give you a nicer finish. So try to keep your fingers on it. You need like 8 fingers in there to actually get your ribbon the way you want it. But just keep trying. You'll get it the way you want it. Nice, I like it. Of course, can I find my scissors? Over here. So then, like I did leave it on the roll, so that way I could, you know, use the least that I can with this. So then you can just slide it. And if you do tie it around your piece, then you can move it wherever you want it on the paper. If you taped it on the back, you wouldn't be able to do that. So there's pros and cons to doing it different ways. So bring in some more of your dimensionals. And I stamped the sentiment, "Thank you kindly," in Old Olive. So I'm just gonna add this right over the ribbon. Isn't it pretty? I think it turned out nice. Sample. And this one. It's really pretty. These will be ready to go into the mail. Hey everybody, I've got my second card I'm going to show you. Well, actually my third card that I'm going to show you that I'm making. And it is in the catalog. And it's this one right here. So what I want to show you first is the silicone mat. It's a silicone craft sheet and it's $127, $8.53, and it's $6. So I do always show this to the girls at class when we are working with something that's hard to glue down, like this laser cut sheet that's in the product suite. So what I want to do is I want to use this side. So I'm going to put my glue on this side. So I get some of the mono adhesive glue, which is gummed up, but I put a little bit up in the top corner. Then I take a sponge that I've cut down and I take up all the glue, and then I slide this over and I just start pouncing on the back of this to put the glue on it so that it will attach and it doesn't leave, you don't get big globs of glue on the front of it. So it's a nice way if you have things that are hard to glue down, just a glue, just a sponge. And when you're done with it, just, you can put it back in the bag and use it next time, or you can just throw it away. So I'm going to put this to the side and I just layer it on a piece of white cardstock that's cut a little more than 1/8 of an inch. I'm just going to lay that down, and then I'm going to attach this piece of Designer Series paper from the packet. It's really pretty. It's got the pretty crushed curry on one side and then the gray kind of landscape on the other side. I'm going to put this right here. Then I'm going to bring my ribbon back in and I leave it on the roll to tie my bow. Oops, scooch over there, out of the way. So I try to keep this as flat as possible. I know I'm probably repeating myself, but I can't say it enough. As flat as you can get it, it makes your bow look so much nicer. And just when you're bringing it around, you want to try to keep it flat as well. And it does give you that nice flat that'll lay nice in your envelope when you're going to mail them. So just kind of futz around with it just a little bit. Use the ears to get it where you want it to be, and then just snip it. I always like to cut them at an angle. So cut that just a little bit. And then you can move your ribbon around where you want it to be. So if you wanted to move it to the other side, since you tied it around the cardstock, you can move it wherever you want it to be. So I like it there. Then I'm going to bring my pieces in. And I'm just going to use my mono adhesive again. I'm going to put this up near the top. And it'll help hold your ribbon down too. So then bring in your lemon. I think it's lemon. And we just want to put this down here at the bottom. Then you want to bring in your sentiment, "Thank you kindly." You can do it in the black with the black around it, or you can do it in the terracotta tile. Whichever one you like. I kind of think I like with the black around it. And I'm going to use some dimensionals. Pop it up just a little bit. And then I just lay this over where the two cutouts come together. Gives you a little bit of dimension too. And it'll offset, the bow won't be the only thing sticking up in the envelope. And you can always put a little piece of cardstock over top of this before you put it in your envelope, and it'll help a little bit when it's going through the mail. So I just use my glue dots, and on metal sometimes they don't like to stick that well, so you do have to kind of force them, and if you can't get them to come off, just get something and make them come up. So you can, or you can always use your glue, your mono adhesive glue, and glue it down as well. And just stick it on. Isn't that pretty? So that's the cards, and I'm sure I'll have some more samples for you later. And I also want to let you know I am uploading all my videos to my blog. This is the address, www.donna-stamps.blogspot.com. And if you want to order anything from my Stampin' Up store, it's www.donnakaufman.stampinup.net. I hope you have enjoyed the cards. I did enjoy making them. I think they turned out really pretty. This is a really nice product suite. Stampin' Up does a really nice job. So if you have any questions, just give me a call or send me an email. Thanks. Bye.